I couldn't believe my eyes when I first saw number 13 Crag Road. No wonder everyone at the Sunny Hills Children's Home had sniggered when I'd said it was going to be my new home. Everything about number 13 was crooked. Its walls were crooked, its chimneys were crooked, even its doors and windows were crooked. It looked like it was going to fall over any second. But crooked or not, number 13 was my new home. You see, the two ladies who owned the place, Grizz and Wormella Mint, had adopted me. My name's Anna Kelly. I don't have any parents, and I have never had a proper home. I've been at Sunny Hills Children's Home since I was a tiny baby. By the time I was 9, so many people had decided not to adopt me that I'd grown used to the idea of spending the rest of my life at Sunny Hills. But I wasn't happy about it, not one bit. Well, you try sleeping 6 to a room in a big old barn of a place and see how much you like it. You couldn't call anything your own at Sunny Hills. So when Grizz and Wormella turned up, promising me a pink and white bedroom with its own private bathroom, a posh new school, new clothes, weekly pocket money, and my own TV, I felt like I'd won the lotto. They had been so sweet in Mrs. Pegg's office. So sweet and so keen to have me. Very, very keen. "Anna, darling," the skinny one had cooed, "you'll have the run of the house. You'll be able to do exactly as you like." "Thanks, miss," I said. "Call me auntie, dear," she crooned. The run of the house. Able to do what I wanted. That suited me just fine. I was used to a lot of rules and regulations at Sunny Hills. It was porridge at 7 a.m, lights out at 9 p.m, that kind of thing. But now life was looking up. The two old dears' only wish was to pamper me. I'd get new clothes, new toys, and I'd be going to the nicest school in town, St. Munchin's. "It's a brand new start for you, Anna Kelly," Mrs. Pegg said as she bundled me into the cab with the two ladies. She bent and put her lips close to my ear. "Don't muck it up," she hissed. "Do as you're told, keep your room tidy, and above all, Anna," Mrs. Pegg's voice dropped to a whisper, "try to keep that stubborn streak of yours under control." Stubborn? Me? Just because I'd staged a sit-down protest to force the management to give us chips every Friday? It wasn't my fault the whole of Sunny Hills had joined in. So I promised Mrs. Pegg I'd be a model child, and I had every intention of keeping that promise. This was my big chance, and it was going to get me out of Sunny Hills for good. I must admit, though, I had a lump in my throat when I looked out of the back window of the car and saw Mrs. Pegg wiping her eyes with her hanky. She wasn't a bad old stick after all, and she was the closest thing I had to a mother. But I swallowed hard, faced the front, and thought about the fantastic new life ahead of me. It took exactly a minute after arriving at number 13 Crag Road for me to realise I had made a mistake. A big, big mistake. That was 6 weeks ago, and since then things have gone from bad to worse. Instead of the new trainers and jeans I was promised, I was given a pointy black hat, black dress, black apron and black boots. Instead of going to St. Munchin's and making lots of new friends, I was up at dawn every day, working. I'm only 9, and even I know that's against the law. The aunts didn't care. They had me cleaning the house, digging up the garden and slaving over the cauldron. They made me cook really horrible food such as beetle legs in jelly and toenail toffee, and then bottle it. The food we ate was disgusting too. On a typical day, we would eat fish eyes on toast, live worm salad and eel pie with slime on the side. There was never a sausage or a chip in sight. But worst of all, I never got to speak to a soul, except Grizz and Wormella. The only friend I had was Charlie, a black cat. He took a liking to me after I gave him my fish eyes. Sometimes when I was working in the kitchen, I'd look out of the window and see a blonde girl about my own age walking down the street. She wore a St. Munchin's blue uniform and she looked really cool. I'd see her playing with friends or riding her bike, and I'd wave and try and get her attention, but she never saw me. So I'd sigh and carry on working. One morning, in the kitchen, The aunts were hunched over some stained yellow papers, and I was stirring the boiling black cauldron, as usual. "This one sounds good, Wormy," said Grizz, licking her thin lips. "Tree beetle custard. Yum, yum. It's been ages since we had some of that." "Yes, sister," twittered Wormella, who rarely said anything else. Grizz shot me an evil look. "We can send the girl out to get tree beetles tonight," she said. "She can go after dark, when it's nice and quiet in the woods." My grip tightened on the wooden spoon. This was the last straw. Nice and quiet, more like spooky and dangerous. I stopped stirring, whipped out the spoon, and flung it across the dingy kitchen. It soared over the heads of Grizz and Wormella, and Miss Charlie by a whisker. "That's it," I shouted. "That is finally, definitely, totally it." I took off my pointy black hat and threw it on the floor. "What did you say?" roared Grizz. She pointed one of her talons at me. "How dare you?" "If you think I'm going to spend my life stirring beetles in this stupid cauldron, you can think again," I shouted. "Pick up that spoon and get on with your work, girl," said Grizz. "Or else." "Or else what?" I was so cross I didn't care what I said. I made two fists with my hands. "I won't do it. I've had enough," I shouted. "I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just an ordinary girl and I should be in school, not boiling to death in this dump." Grizz leapt from her seat and stalked towards me, while Wormella hid her fat face in her frilly apron. "School?" shouted Grizz. "Do you think we adopted you from that dirty little kids' home so you could swan about at school?" That was typical. She was always going on about how I should be grateful for being rescued from Sunny Hills. As if it was my fault I didn't have any parents, and as if Sunny Hills wasn't much, much nicer than Crag Road. "At least at Sunny Hills I had friends," I shouted, "but here I have nobody except Charlie, and he's not even human." Charlie jumped from his seat and wound himself around my ankles. "No offence, Charlie," I said. "Friends?" said Grizz. "We're witches. We don't have friends, we have victims." She threw her head back and cackled long and loud. My blood froze in my veins, and even Wormella seemed to cower away from her sister. So that was it. Grizz had finally admitted what we were all doing. Witchcraft. And I was helping.